From Eating Health Foods. Today I'm talking about, guess what? Wild C. We've sold about 6 months worth of Wild C in the last week, and we're practically out of stock. In fact, we are out of stock, and even the next batch, which we're getting done, which is about a month or two away, which is container loads, not container loads, that's sold as well. Like this just so if you haven't, I hate to like cause panic or panic buying, but if you haven't got any Wild C, I'd get your order in today. Yeah, had a lot of emails, had a lot of phone calls. Obviously, I had a lot of orders and a lot of questions about Wild C. So I'm going to try and address some of those questions. So a question. Well, first of all, let's talk about, there's a lot of talk about coronavirus and things like that. And some people are saying it's just fake. It doesn't even exist. People are just getting the flu. And I'm not even going to talk about that part. In Australia, winter is coming and it's not a bad idea to boost up your immune system regardless of what's going on in the world. And that's just common sense. And that's what we've been recommending, not for years, but for decades. And so a really good way to boost your immune system is with Wild C. In fact, the Chinese government is now giving its coronavirus patients, guess what? Vitamin C. In Shanghai and different provinces, different hospitals, and they're giving it intravenously. They're giving it really high dosage, 5, 10, 15, 20,000 milligrams, which is kind of a little bit dangerous because it's isolated, it's very acidic. So you do that long term, you're going to melt your bones, you're going to end up with kidney problems, you're going to end up with blockages. And so I've had the question about our vitamin C because people want to really boost their immune system. Can I overdose taking too much Wild C? And the answer is no. You could take the whole can if you want, and you're not going to burn out your immune system or overdose. And I guess the analogy I want to use there is it's like saying if I take, here's another courier van. If I take one strawberry, sorry about that. Wild C is totally natural, so it doesn't matter how much you take. Whether you take 1 teaspoon, 1 tablespoon 3 times a day is what I prefer to take, or if you consume the whole can. And I guess the analogy or the difference between isolated vitamin C and taking high dosage and the problem with that and taking natural vitamin C is that your body will utilize it. Now, traditional cultures, if you read the book Nutritional and Physical Degeneration by Weston A. Price or the book Deep Nutrition by Catherine Shanahan, I got asked that question the other day, like what's a really good book to read? There's some really good books to read. Dr. Catherine Shanahan, she says in the book Deep Nutrition that traditional cultures, the ones that live to 120, really old, no dental cavities, no disease, no cancer, no problems whatsoever, they usually had 10 times the recommended daily intake by today's standards of most nutrients across the board. So they had approximately, for most things, or tried to get in about 10 times the recommended daily intake. And so today, people think the recommended daily intake is something that you want to follow. And it's funny because different governments say you should have 60 milligrams or 100 milligrams, and the recommended daily intake is different according to which country you're in, and also the studies they used to come about to that recommended daily intake. And I could talk volumes about, or I could talk a lot about those studies and how they came about that, but it's just the faulty mathematics of medicine is what I call it. That's the faulty mathematics of medicine. And so you don't want to stick to recommended daily intakes. You want to try, especially if you're eating whole foods. When you're using isolated products, you want to be very careful, and isolated supplements or drugs, if you have too much, you can end up with problems. But when you're using natural products or natural vitamin C as found in Wild C, it's like saying, just a month or two ago, blueberries are out in this area, and strawberry or whatever. I'll use the analogy of blueberries. And if I have one blueberry, is there any difference if I have the whole punnet of blueberries? And when blueberries come out about summertime here in Australia, there's a big blueberry farm where we are here, and you can go picking blueberries. And they say you can eat as much blueberries as you want. As you're picking, you can eat them as well. Well, guess what? You gorge yourself. You have a lot of blueberries. Now, am I going to die because I had one blueberry too much. No, of course not. And that's how people ate. When berries came out in season, people ate a lot of them. And then they made jams or different things to preserve it. They obviously didn't have refrigerators, they just it was harder to preserve them or dry them and powder them. And one of the herbs obviously in here, gubinji, is a berry found in Northern Australia, and the Aboriginals ate that, and Weston A. Price said they were some of the healthiest specimens of humans on the planet. But did they eat it all year round? They didn't. It only came out at a certain time, and they ate a lot of it when they could get it. And then they had other berries and other things that they found that naturally came out. So some of the other questions that we'll be getting: is it safe for children? Totally safe, obviously, because it's very natural. It's like if I give my little child a strawberry, if I give them 2 strawberries, if I give them 10 strawberries, what's the difference? Well, they're going to get more nutrition, obviously, the more they eat. So you're not going to get the runs. You're not going to get any toxic overload by having a higher serving size or higher dose. I had a few more questions. Hang on.
3.
And lastly, so that's recommended daily intakes. And lastly, people are saying, what else can they do? What else can they do through immune system? If I take too much, am I going to burn my immune system out? No, you're not. You're going to feed your immune system. And not only is there vitamin C, there's a whole lot of other nutrients attached that are going to help you to absorb other nutrients, which is going to feed your immune system. And burning your immune system out is usually caused by too many toxins in your body, or people mentioned autoimmune disorders. And they were saying, if I have too much vitamin C, it's going to cause an autoimmune disorder. If I take too much echinacea and boost my immune system up, that's not the case. There's a whole lot of other factors like gluten and toxins and a whole lot of other factors that causes autoimmune disorders, which leads me to my next question: what else can I do? And so cleansing programs is very important, not only at this time. If you want to avoid the flu, or if you want to avoid any disease, you want to get maximum nutrition into your body. So that means you don't want to eat processed food, and you want to eat whole foods. You want to eat certified organic as much as you can, because if you eat processed food, you're going to be feeding yourself not the best nutrition. And so some other comparison products are our Bowel Cleanse, Superfood Formula, getting a lot of maximum, a lot more nutrition in, and Ultimate Biotic, strongest probiotic in the world. Good bacteria help feed your immune system. And so there you go. Wild Sea, Superfood, Ultimate Biotic. Don't want to cause a panic, but that's what people are buying. And you're wise if you do.